I hope you can hear me properly. I'm just gonna go over here to my computer as well so I can type things in, which would be nice. Go to the live. Okay. So, hello everyone. I am out of Saudi Arabia. Of course, I waited to leave Saudi Arabia before I published the video, which is what I often do when I travel, depending on the circumstances, yeah? Oh man, this is not, the angle is not the best, you know? And if I do too much of an angle, then this thing will fall over. See, this is the problem when you're traveling. You don't have a desk, you don't have equipment. You see? Yeah, I'm trying to get it like in an angle that I'm in the center of the screen. And then what happens is that it falls over. All right, here's Malach. So let's see how we can do this. Okay, I think it's just gonna be like this. That's the best we can do. So yeah, there's a bit of headspace. See, this is me, my ex-journalist kicking in, you know? When I was a journalist, like if you have someone on a Skype or something like that, then you don't want to have all this headroom. You don't want to have all this headroom, but there's nothing I can do because I just don't have a desk here, and this is like the best. It's leaning against my computer, which I have in front of me. So yeah. All right, this, get rid of this. Why is this? Oh, I have here a very annoying All right, Wandering Nomad says hi. Good to see you. All right, let's just do this. So yeah, I mean, no, I'm not in Saudi Arabia anymore. M. Tajvidi asks. And again, I have to say the reason I'm not is because I didn't, was really in Saudi Arabia, filming sensitive stuff, like I didn't want to upload the video or the videos because there's going to be more videos from Saudi. Hope you're excited. I didn't want to upload any videos while I'm there. So, wow, this is so annoying. Like I'm uploading it now, another video from Saudi Arabia, I'm uploading as we speak. And the little tab saying that it's uploading is blocking my chat. And I don't know how to get rid of it. So it's either I have a blocked chat or I have to pause the download. How frustrating. Anyway, yeah. So that's the deal. So I'm out of Saudi Arabia, which is also unfortunate in some ways because had I posted videos while I was there, maybe people would have invited me and, I could have gotten more content. But on the other hand, I didn't know what the rules are exactly as far as filming and Israeli and Saudi Arabia. I preferred to upload only after I left. So yeah, put a lot of work into that video. It's a longer video than a lot of the videos I've put out. It encompassed many locations. You look like a Saudi, someone tells me, okay. Yeah, best and peaceful Israeli, says the guy with the Turkish flag. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that was the deal. A lot of work went into the video, in the actual filming of all those places, and in the editing. So, I hope that pays dividends with subscribers and, that it pays to repay my costs of Saudi because that was a expensive country somewhat to be in. And yeah, I mean, all I can say about Saudi Arabia, all I can say, I have a lot to say, and you guys can ask questions, is that, after, we can start with the story of my video to Egypt, and maybe there are some people here who've seen my video in Egypt because it was one of the first videos I made on this channel. Actually, it was like the third one, no, the fourth one. It was the fourth video I made on the channel, and what happened was, okay, I was doing this travel vlog. I'd been to Iceland, I'd been to Romania, I'd even been to the Sinai Peninsula, one of the first ones I made, when I drove down from Israel to Sinai, but I didn't mention there that I was Israeli in the video. And then when I was going to Egypt, I was like, okay, well, should I say I'm from Israel there or not? Like, not just from the vlog perspective, just from the perspective of safety, of whatever, what people will react, because, the relations between Israel and Egypt are not good. So I was like, okay, how do I fit that in the vlog? Do I just pretend it's not an issue? Do I not mention it? Do I say I'm American and then cut it out? Like how do I deal with that? So in the end, I was like, okay, that's actually a very interesting question. I was like, that will be the subject of the video, right? I found that I was so focusing on this question and that it was interesting, and I was like, okay, instead of just making a pyramids, whatever, regular video, I'll be like, okay, what happens when an Israeli visits Egypt? That will be the title of the video. That will be like the subject around the whole Egypt story will revolve. And yeah, invested a lot in that video. Went pretty viral. It's close to 1 million views now. And after Egypt, I went to South America. My videos from there bombed. They did terribly. Part of it has to do also with YouTube algorithm, which I can get into a little bit. But basically, if you amass a lot of viewers who are interested in your Israeli and Egypt story, then they're not interested in Colombia or Venezuela or whatever. Anyway, came back to Israel after October 7th, and then, made some videos from Israel that did very well. And then that's when I kind of realized that, okay, this is what's interesting people currently with my channel, is my angle is someone in Israel visiting Muslim countries and things like that. So then it was like, all right, I'm gonna go visit those places, Muslim countries, quote, enemy countries that don't have relations with Israel, which I can do because I have a second passport. And that journey brought me to, at the beginning, the more milder places, but still just like Albania and Kosovo and Azerbaijan that actually don't have any problem with Israel or even close to Israel, Muslim countries, right? But then later also to Indonesia and Malaysia, Mindanao in Philippines, which used to be an ISIS stronghold, and then Morocco, and finally Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia was actually my #1 target for that type of video. Meaning, after I saw my success in Egypt, and I saw that a lot of the people who saw my video in Egypt were from Saudi Arabia, meaning 5% in my analytics. 5% of my... someone asked a question about demographics. Okay, so I wanted to go to Saudi Arabia after my video in Egypt. That was like my #1 target. Maybe Oman, places like that, because of my success in Egypt. And then October 7th happened. And, I kind of put all those things on hold a little bit. I did end up actually, like already in April, going, for example, to Indonesia and places like that. But Saudi, and specifically my parents, were very paranoid about me going to Saudi. They didn't want me going to Saudi because of the sensitivities post-October 7th. And yeah, in the end, I was just like, I had this, it was like in the back of my head, I have to go to Saudi Arabia. Like, it's my #1 destination I want to go to for my vlog, like #1. So eventually I was just like, F it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. And I did it a bit late. I think I should have done it earlier, despite the, risks supposedly or whatever. But eventually I did. It's also one of the reasons why in the video I didn't really say I was from Israel. I would have been more open about it, but post October 7th, everything is just more sensitive. Everything is more, it's a period where people are really governed by emotions, what they see in the news, which is often lacking context or one-sided, especially if you're in the Arab world. So I was more careful about it. I mean, there were people there. I had a subscriber of mine who's from Egypt, who lives in Riyadh, who drove me around there, and of course, he knows I'm from Israel and this. There was a guide in Al Ula who watched my videos, who knew I was from Israel. So, yeah, I mean, there were some people who knew, but mostly no. Which is something I kind of regret. I would have liked to have done that more, especially in the video. But on the other hand, when I was in Jeddah, and you'll see my video from Jeddah later, because I flew out from Jeddah, I told the guy that I was American, right, which is what I told a lot of people. And then he asked me if I was Muslim, and I said, no. By the way, that's something they ask you a lot in Saudi Arabia and not in other Muslim countries. So in Egypt, they don't always ask you if you're Muslim, or in Malaysia, or in Indonesia. But in Saudi Arabia, they ask you, are you Muslim? Which is, I would like to interpret that as just an inquiry, but I did feel sometimes like they really want you to be Muslim, and if you're not Muslim, they're disappointed, because then they say, inshallah, one day you'll be Muslim. So yeah, so there was that, and then he asked me if I was Muslim, and I said no. So he said, what, Christian? I said, no, Jewish. And then he looks at me like this. He says, this was like a guy that was a security guard at this event that, you'll see it in my video. You won't see this scene because I wasn't filming this scene, but you'll see the guy who was part of the scene in one of my later videos. So I said Jewish. He said, and he looks at me and he says, go sit over there. And I was like, what? And he looks at me. And then this friend, because there were two of them, he said, no, he's just joking. He's just joking. And I was like, okay, like, I don't know what's going on. No, no, no. And the guy was like, not happy. I was waiting for a taxi. And then like I went and I came back in this. And then later the guy came up to me and he said, look, I'm sorry I treated you that way, but we see what's going on in Palestine and, how all the people that are dying and and I know not all the Jews support Netanyahu. And then I just said, look, I said, what you see on the news, it's half the story. It's not the whole story, but in general, look, there's good and bad people on both sides, okay? Like, I was just trying to be diplomatic. I'm also, I'm in their land, so, I can't say everything that I think about that, but all right. And and then I said, there are good Jews and bad Jews, there are good Muslims and bad Muslims. And he was like, he wasn't really willing to hear the idea that there might be bad Muslims. And he said, okay, fine, but one day you will be a Muslim. So, it was kind of like, okay, apology. Yeah, I'll give a 7 out of 10 rank for that apology. It was kind of an apology, but yeah. So that was just, and again, that reaction was just from saying that I'm Jewish. I didn't even say that I was from Israel, right? So this kind of thing could have gotten me in trouble. I think I could have dared more and said I was from Israel in some cases that I didn't, and I kind of regret that from the perspective of my videos. On the other hand, I was a bit nervous, and my parents in particular were so paranoid about me being there, and they like begged me, literally, my mom begged me, please, please, please don't tell anyone you're from Israel. Don't tell anyone you're from Israel. Now, I think she was being paranoid. Yeah, here, you don't say you're from Israel and Saudi Arabia, someone says. So yeah, so I was kind of like, okay, from the YouTube perspective, it would be good, it'd be nice, but I'll pass, like basically, except for in certain cases, like the guy who knew me and here, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say that. Just, I'm gonna go, and that was the title of the video, undercover. I'm going with, a foreign passport. I'm entering legally, and I'm just saying U.S. That's it. Like, so that was the way it went down in that aspect. I think, again, if we hadn't been in the aftermath of October 7th and the war with Gaza and all that, I think it would have been easier and much less risky to say Israel. I just think now it's it's a very sensitive period, and it's just a lot more problematic to do that kind of thing. Yeah. So all right, I see there's a lot of stuff about Israel and this, and there's the usual, oh, you Jews, you only live ever in the diaspora, you have no right to have a state, which is, of course, part of the problem and why we don't have a solution, because people think like that. So I'm not going to answer those questions. I've answered them a gazillion times in previous live streams. The usual Israel, Palestine, so I just want, if you have questions about Saudi Arabia in general, not necessarily like from Israel perspective, if you have questions about normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia, questions about my future videos from Saudi Arabia, anything like that, the sites, anything, then ask. If it's about Palestine and Gaza, I'm not going to answer, not in this live stream. I've done it too many times. I don't have the patience for that now. Anna says it would be interesting if you changed into Arabic clothes that you bought, but I threw them out. I mean, I didn't throw them out. I just left them at the hotel, my last hotel in Saudi, because I was like, I'm leaving Saudi Arabia. I travel with a very small bag, as some of you know, and I'm not going to wear Saudi clothes when I'm not in Saudi. So I was like, okay, I wore them in the video. I used it for the thumbnail, and now it's time to leave it behind. Okay, lots of love, bro, says Jesse. My reaction world. Did Saudi moral police harass you? No. I don't think they really have a moral police. It's not Iran. In Iran, there is a moral police. When a girl walks around without hijab, she can get arrested. And then, Mahsa Amini, the girl without a hijab, got arrested and killed in custody in Iran. Now, in Saudi, from what I understand, there's no rule. There are no such rules. And I even seen some women in shorts, like tourists mostly. And then the Saudi women, some of them don't have a burqa, meaning they have a hijab only. And I even saw some Saudi women with their head not covered. And that's part of like the process that's going on in Saudi Arabia, where now technically there's no law about that, from what I understand. Meaning it's expected of a woman to cover, but if she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. And most of the pressure, let's call it, on women in Saudi Arabia to wear burqa is social and coming from their families or their partners or whatever it is. It's not enforced by the government, to the best of my understanding, from what I've seen, from what everyone told me. Meaning, if a woman in Saudi doesn't want to wear a burqa, meaning she wants to show her face, she can, according to the law, and no morality police will come and arrest her. Maybe her friends and family might say, shame on you, and that's pressuring them not to do it to a certain extent. It's still a very conservative country, but there's no morality police. There's no, again, from best of my understanding, from whatever people told me there, from what I saw there, if a woman goes around and her head is uncovered, no Saudi policeman will come and arrest her. You know what I mean? Or tell her to cover herself. No, like. Bigo, in which of these countries could you imagine surviving for 1 week? Afghanistan, Pakistan, Mali, Yemen, Libya, Sudan, or Somalia? Afghanistan, a lot of travelers have been there. I think I could do okay. Pakistan also. Yemen, I wouldn't go to Yemen. Let's put it that way. Mali, I don't know enough about, but I know there's like Al-Qaeda there and stuff. And yeah, Libya, Sudan, Somalia are all sketchy. I would say out of the list, Afghanistan, Pakistan would be the most safe for me. I'd probably be okay, but it would still be dangerous. Okay, Wandering Nomad wants to pass question. Okay, fine. Okay, so the Phoenix says, I want to go there with my foreign passport, but it says my birth of place is Israel. What do you reckon? So I think you can do it. But yeah, it would be a little bit more sketchy. Like basically from what I understand, and again, a lot of the information I got before I left was from my friend Avi, the ultra-Orthodox traveler. You might have seen him in my video. It's before I went to Morocco. I did a video with this guy. He's religious and he travels. He has a foreign passport and he's been to like Afghanistan and Pakistan and everywhere. And he told me, you have nothing to worry as a U.S. citizen. And he said, even if they find in your bag your Israeli passport, because I have that one as well. Like say they search your bag and they find an Israeli passport, like they find out you came from Israel. It's they can't touch you. It's like there's a law there, you know. And because it's a monarchy, centralized, so even if you land on a bad official, he knows there's a law and can't touch you. And yeah, it might be uncomfortable, but like your risk is minimal as a foreign national in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? Like but again, still, if it says born in Israel, they'll be like, this. And what if they think you're some Mossad agent? I don't know, like they might think these things. There's a page on Wikipedia called Animal Conspiracies in Israel, which is all the most insane in our world about how Israel uses animals for warfare. There's a Wikipedia page on this. It's called Animal Conspiracies in Israel. So for example, when there were a bunch of shark attacks in the Red Sea, the Egyptians said it was Mossad because they wanted to harm Egyptian tourism. Which is just, And then there was one, they found a bird in Saudi Arabia, and the bird had like a Hebrew tag on it because, one of the research thing, they want to check the migration of the birds and stuff. And then they said, oh, Israel's spying on Saudi Arabia with birds, so like, you never know, right? What they'll think, like how suspicious people might get for whatever reason. So yeah, I mean, if it says born in Israel, more problematic. On balance, I would say you'd probably be fine, but I don't want to give my word and then something happens to someone. So, be careful and check out with other people. Ephraim, have you ever had sketchy situations when you revealed you're from Israel? I remember the one time that guy kicked you off his bike. Yeah, I had. I mean, I had in Egypt a few times. Not just with the bike guy, but other situations. They were like in Egypt, they were very aggressive. When I said I was from Israel, quite a few of them. Um, like for example, the kids at the end of my video in Egypt, right when I was in Egypt, and there were the kids who came at the end who said there's no Israel, and so forth. I saw them like going because they went to get me falafel. You probably saw that in the video as well. And then there were some people who there were some older people, and they're like, "Who's that vlogger?" No, no, no. And then they said something about Israel, and they went into like a rage, like literally a rage. They looked at me, and then the two kids was like, "No, no, it's okay. He's our friend or whatever." No, no, no. Like the kids saved me, like literally. So. I don't know. It's there was that, and then in Malaysia, when I went to the lady there, was like at the mosque, and I was sitting at the restaurant eating, and I was like, this was stupid, because it's one thing to say, when you're walking where you can walk away, but I'm like, now I ordered food, so what, I'm gonna sit here? What if they call people, and I was next to a mosque, like, they call people and they say whatever, so that was kind of sketchy. But yeah, I never felt like I had a lot of it was just paranoia in my own head more than to say someone actually had like a knife at my throat, like, because you never know, so you don't know what the person is thinking in their head. Maybe they're smiling, and behind the smile they're like, okay, we're gonna go get it, like, you don't know. So yeah, but I never had like a real. Oh, there was the one in Egypt, right? There was in Egypt in the night video I made from Cairo, where again I was like in the middle of a dark street at night, surrounded by shabab, by young guys, with at the mosque there with the Khaled, the guy who took me on the tour, and they were like, "Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from?" And I was like, "U.S." I was like, "I'm not gonna say surrounded by young guys in a dark alley in Cairo that I'm from Israel. But that's the backup that you can do. You can always not. You can always hide. You know what I mean? But that's one of the reasons why I'm not doing these videos anymore, because I'm like, no, I don't want to hide. I don't want to hide for my own safety, and all due respect to making videos and this, like, I'm done with hiding. So that's why I'm like, I'm not, for now, I'm not going to go. Yeah, I could go to Tunisia and stuff, but I'm not going to go to a place where, 50% of the time I have to hide. I don't want to do that anymore. Respect from Kosovo. Watch my video from Kosovo, man. Okay, Abdallah says, as Saudi, if I want to visit Al-Aqsa Mosque, how can I do that? Um, well, yeah, it's a problem because you don't have the official relations with Israel. But I would say it's possible to fly to Jordan and then go through Jordan into the West Bank, like into the Palestinian Authority territory. And then from there, you have to go through probably go through a checkpoint, Israeli checkpoint between the West Bank and Israel, and arrive like that. Like, I think it's possible, right? But it's easier if you had, because there was, for example, an Egyptian guy who did it. But Egypt, it's different because Egypt has relations with Israel, official relations. So even though Egypt is more hostile to Israel than Saudi, the people are more hostile, the government is more hostile. Or actually, the government, I don't know, but like, it's easier if you're from Egypt because, like, officially, you have Egyptian passport, you can enter Israel, no problem. You're a national of a country that has an official peace agreement with Israel. It's like anyone else. From the security standpoint of Israel, Israeli security and intelligence and whatever, that, okay, wait a second, someone from Egypt is coming. Why is he coming? That's not a normal thing, but still, like, officially is that. Now, Saudi Arabia, there was the guy, Muhammad Saud, the vlogger, the Saudi vlogger. It's funny that he became a celebrity in Israel because he learned Hebrew and he speaks Hebrew and he's like in favor of normalization, so that his nickname in Israel is the Saudi vlogger. Which is just like a genius name, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, because, I'm sure there are other Saudi bloggers, but he's like the Saudi blogger. It's like my name would be the Israeli blogger, that's it. So the Saudi blogger, he went to Al-Aqsa, and they spat on him, and they attacked him, and all the Palestinians, they treated him like terribly. But yeah, there's a video of him like approaching Al-Aqsa, and all the Palestinians are like throwing chairs at him and spitting on him. It was really nasty what they did to him. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, you can go through. I'm pretty sure you can fly to. So I don't know. Maybe because he had some like contacts in Israel, he was able to go. But I still think you can go through Jordan, cross through Jordan into like Palestinian territories, and then from there drive to Jerusalem. I think it's possible. Emad Brown says it's not that easy, actually. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was saying like I don't know exactly. If there were a way to do it, that would be the way. You would fly to Jordan, cross from Jordan into Ramallah, this Palestinian territories, and then drive to Jerusalem. But Emad Brown here, my brother, who I spoke to a few times, and the other day, it's good to see you, says it's not that easy. So why don't you let me know what you know about this, because you might know more than me. Right? So what do you know? Maybe you know something, and you can answer the question. So just write down, Imad, like what you know about this subject, and yeah. Anna says, tell me about that female Jewish former Bahraini ambassador, Huda. It was really fascinating watching you speak in the synagogue. How did you contact her? Yeah, so Huda, I met her when I was in the UAE. I also knew about her before because I'd seen her active on Twitter and all that. Yeah, I won't say much more about that because I want to focus on Saudi in this live stream. But let's say I met her when I was in Abu Dhabi, and she said, oh, you're coming to Bahrain, then let's be in contact. And that's how I was able to get her the synagogue in Bahrain, which was interesting. Wow, anybody tried to convert you? So yeah, they did. Not in a... I tried to convert, I don't know. But I had, like I said, and I didn't have this in any other Muslim country. I've been to a lot of Muslim countries. I never had this like I had in Saudi, where many times they ask you, you say you're from the US or whatever, and they say, are you Muslim? They always ask you, or like not always, but a lot of them ask, are you Muslim? And when I said no, then there were quite a few of them who afterwards say, inshallah, one day you'll be a Muslim. So, is that trying to convert? I'll let you decide, but yeah. Use some small object to keep the phone stable. No, see, the thing is, the reason why the phone isn't stable is because I'm sitting on a bed here, and I have like a desk on the bed, which is why it's moving, So when I move, you see, and the phone moves. That's because I'm in a room here, I don't have a desk, and so yeah, there's nowhere really, like the other option would be there's like a little chair here, but then I'll have to like lean down into the thing, which would tire me out. So this is the best option. This is the best solution that I have. I don't walk around with like a big stick for the phone, because I don't have room for that in my bag. And, for a once in a 3 weeks live stream, it's not worth it. So yeah, so I have to improvise every time. Teha Vlogs, your feelings about, again, anyone here, I see a lot of people asking about Palestine and two-state solution and this. I said in this video, I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. I want to talk only about Saudi Arabia. And one of the reasons, and it's not because I'm avoiding the question, anyone who's been on my live streams before knows I have talked endlessly about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I've been asked 5 gazillion questions, and I usually answer them. Today, we're staying away from that subject. So someone asked your feelings about Medina. My feelings about Medina. Look, Medina, I was kind of surprised that it was a bit run down. Because, for example, Riyadh, a lot of parts of Riyadh is also a city that's in flux. Like, there's a lot of construction going on there. They're building the light rail there, the metro, and they're building high rises, and they're doing this, and there's like a lot of construction going on. There's some super new buildings. There's some old ones. You actually might have seen in my vlog when I went to Dubia, where they still have the old mud brick houses that are falling apart. So, and Medina was like, wow, it was run down. It's pretty run down. I mean, besides the center part, which is, you have all these hotels and stuff and souvenir shops around the Prophet's Mosque, which is the center of Medina, the areas around that were I was like surprised. Like there was a lot of old buildings, run down buildings, tons of construction going on, like tons. I mean, every sidewalk was half turned over, and I know they're gonna build like a big park there. They have all kinds of things they want to build there, which I'm sure will look different in 10 years. But Medina was like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a beautiful city, at least in its current condition of transformation. The mosque, the Prophet's Mosque, is very beautiful. There's also the Quba Mosque, which you might have seen in the video. It's also very beautiful. So yeah, and of course, when you're near those places, it's a spiritual place and so forth. But it's kind of like, I mean, it really isn't. I didn't feel like you can do that much in Medina unless you're pious Muslim. You know what I mean? Like, of course, as a tourist, as I was, you want to go, you want to see the sights, fine. But it doesn't have that nice atmosphere for someone if you're not coming for religious purposes. Like to, okay, like here you film, here, like you're not really supposed to film there that much. Like I know people going around, like if you go with a camera, a big camera, and you make a lot of in front of the mosque there, then they might tell you to turn it off. I know that's happened to several people. I don't think you'll get into real trouble, but so for me, that's why, okay, like I did a little bit of filming and moved on my way, but like next to the mosque and stuff. But again, it's kind of like, again, I can't relate as much as other people because I'm not a Muslim and I'm not religious, like Jew or Muslim, right? I can appreciate the importance. It was very cool climbing up that mountain and then, seeing like obscured, like a very important site in the life of the Prophet Muhammad and all that. And you see all the people that prayed there and whatever. So yeah, it was like interesting, but, you know, I wouldn't call it a very touristic city. Let's put it that way. Like, I kind of felt I didn't belong there that much. Whereas in a place like Riyadh, okay, there's a lot of foreigners in Riyadh, and there's a lot of this and whatever. I mean, there's a lot of foreigners in Medina as well. But again, they're coming for religious purposes. They're coming to do Umrah. They're coming to visit and everything. So yeah, that's the deal. Okay, so Ahmad Brown says, I have one of a friend. He have a Swedish passport, but he's originally from Somalia. He got detained at the Jordanian-Israeli border for more than 8 hours, and then he couldn't enter Israel. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm afraid of for someone who wants to try. I said, again, that's the way you would try to do it, but you're at the mercy of the Israeli authorities. Like if you have you're a Somali guy, like why do you want to enter? What's your purpose? Especially during these very tense times, there's a possibility that the Israeli authorities will turn you away. So yeah, no guarantees on that front. Do you think that Saudi Arabia will give up its new demand for an irreversible state of Palestine in an Israeli-Saudi peace deal? It's not a new demand. Meaning the Saudis always had a demand to get something for the Palestinians out of the deal. And I think a lot of that has to do with public pressure in Saudi. A lot of it, meaning I think much of the population in Saudi Arabia, it's more important to them than some of the leadership, which is the same case in Egypt, by the way, because the leadership is looking more at the practical things they can do for the country, to solve the things for the country, whereas the population, they're very emotional about Palestine and so forth. So, like there's the interest of the state, and then there's the always boiling emotion for the Palestinians. You know what I mean? So, although I do think also some of the Saudi people in positions of power in Saudi Arabia also care about the Palestinians themselves, like the foreign minister, what's his name again? Not Adel Al-Jubeir, the one who used to be there. And then the guy who replaced him, he's like spoken like more emotionally, forcefully about the subject than the crown prince, for example. So there's also people in positions of power who also want to see something for the Palestinians. So that's the deal. So that's always been the deal. And there was the Saudi Peace Initiative back in 2001, which was, unrealistic and wouldn't lead to peace, but at least it was like a proposal that the Arab states put forward to end the conflict. So it's like a start. So yeah, I mean, of course they can try, but the problem is, what can you offer the Palestinians that they'll agree to? And I would say nothing, right? Like nothing you ever offer will be enough, because in the end of the day, Israel existing as a Jewish state is something that they've said time and again is unacceptable to them. So, I mean, you can try to write down a deal on paper and then shake hands, but what's stopping any territory then being just taken over by Hamas, and then they start firing rockets into Israel? And I would say not much. But that's just my 2 cents. But yeah, I mean, I would say that, in the end of the day, yeah, there's going to have to be something on the Palestinian issue if Saudi is going to get on board with normalization. And I would say that a Saudi normalization is a good thing for the region, but also even for the Palestinians, because, you know, you have an important country in the region that is now involved, and it's another indicator to the Palestinians that the idea of there's no Israel and Israel is a temporary colonial entity that's going to go away, it's another indicator that no, that's not the case. Look, the most important country in Saudi Arabia recognizes Israel. That's from that side. And on the other side, also on the Israeli side, anyone who has like dreams of annexing all of the West Bank and stuff, now you have another thing to lose. Right now, first it's the Emirates that Israel could have lost. You know, the deal, like there was annexation on the table maybe under Trump, and then Israel chose to go towards normalization with the Emiratis, who were against annexation, of course. And now if you have Saudi in the picture, then again, it's like, okay, think about that. You, on the one hand, you have normalization with Saudi Arabia and the chance to improve relations with Saudi Arabia. And then you have, oh, let's take hills in Judea, Samaria. Like, and you weigh those two things up. So of course you have the crazies in Israel, the religious right-wingers who I've spoken against numerous times, if you know my views. Of course, they'll let everything burn as long as they can, you know, get their historic Israel in their hands. Like be damned the consequences. But they're not the majority, and like there are other forces at play, which is the rest of the Israeli population, you know, the Americans, pressures, whatever. So I'm saying I just think it will push everyone closer to the reality of mutual recognition and peace if the Saudis normalize. Like, it can only be a good thing, in my opinion. So someone asked, did the trip change your perspective about Saudi Arabia in any way? I not as much as I thought, just because I was more aware of what's going on in Saudi Arabia than most people. Because I'm a former journalist, and you know, I was and like I take a lot of interest in countries in the region, and I was following like the talks of possible normalization and all that. So I kind of knew that Saudi Arabia is changing rapidly. It's modernizing in many ways. I know that, for example, they look up to Dubai as a model of how they want to build some of their places. So, you know, like I was expecting to see like the skyscrapers and the this and that. And I knew from videos that they have Starbucks. And so like that kind of like modernization thing, the people, again, I think I was surprised, first of all, by how many people spoke English, or a lot of people speak English, which was surprising to me, like good English. I think the amount of like Western chains I saw there surprised me, like the amount of Starbucks and McDonald's and Cinnabon, and like how much it's looking like America, you know, surprised me a little. I would say, and yeah, also the thing I talked about of, are you a Muslim? Inshallah, one day I'll be a Muslim. That was like, I hadn't experienced that. So, okay, that's a thing. So that's one thing. And also like with the women, yeah, I mean, again, I'd heard, you know, I know that they're, for example, now they're driving, now they're this, that's been already, that's 5 years ago already. So yeah, but like you see, like in the video, a female tour guide, and you see, you know, there's several female tour guides, and they're working and they're everything, and they like seem, you know, even under the burqa, which is a hard thing for me to when you want to see the person and get their, you know, their eye expressions and their face expressions, it's hard when someone's under a burqa, but you know, they're doing all the normal things, right? Like they're going to the mall and shopping for bags and shoes and whatever, and their new, they're walking around with their kids. They're doing it's like once you get used to it, it kind of becomes like a normal, you know? Like I still think there's something, you know, there's something a bit difficult for me to accept with the idea when you cover somebody's face, again, just from the prospect of trying to get the person's facial expressions, you know? Like when you're interacting with someone, you want to get their facial expressions. You want to see if they're smiling, if they're frowning, if they're, like it's hard when someone, you can do a bit of it because you can see their eyes. So you can see when they're smiling, you can see, even with a burqa, you can see that they're smiling because you can see you smile, your eyes go like this, you can see, but it's harder. So yeah, but you get used to it, and it kind of becomes actually like not a big deal, and like you see, and like it doesn't, again, it doesn't really feel like they're suffering. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like they're like, it seems like, okay, it's just like, all right, the fabric is comfortable, it's very thin, they're wearing it, they're going about their business, they're working, they're shopping, they're with their kids, they're with their husband, and it's like, and that's it. So yeah. Anna says, you told me about the difficulty in connecting to women in burqas when interviewing them. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit harder to do. Have you read Psalms, Bible, Adlan, Quran? How do you have such in-depth knowledge of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam? How do I have knowledge? Curiosity. That's the only way. Curiosity. When you're curious, when you like to read up, you gain knowledge. I also like have a pretty good memory for these kind of things. Like I wouldn't say I'm a genius because I'm not, but maybe a somewhat above average memory, like capacity to read and store it in my brain and remember it. So yeah, but it's mostly just curiosity. Like when you're curious, when you like to open Google and Wikipedia, as terrible as Wikipedia is on many subjects, most notably Israel, but for some things, it's decent for getting a general background, and then you can go to other sources. When you're constantly opening up and reading, and you're reading books and you're reading this, so yeah, you learn. Karim says, do they appreciate the fact that you speak Arabic? Yes. Absolutely. When you speak Arabic in Arab countries, people appreciate you more because it's like, okay, you take an interest in their culture and everything. And that's why it's so important for me to speak Arabic, even if I don't speak well, or if the person can speak English, to do some communication in Arabic. Oh, Emad has sent the first super chat. Thank you, Emad. Yeah, thanks also for advice on Saudi, because I talked to you, right, Emad? I talked with him like a year ago when I was in America, and I asked him about Saudi Arabia and everything, and he kind of said, yeah, it's okay, you can go, you can film. So thanks for the info and the support, of course. So yeah, definitely speaking Arabic. Also in Egypt, when I was in Egypt, speaking Arabic helped me. Not just for creating like connections with people, but just from a practical sense, right? Not everyone speaks English. Sometimes you're in places where things are written in Arabic and not in English. So when you can speak Arabic, when you can read a little bit Arabic, it helps you manage, right? It helps you do things. Of course, nowadays you can always use Google Translate and stuff, but it does help in these places when you can speak some Arabic. So yeah. All right, Walid says, please keep the fantastic work that you do. Thank you so much. Thank you. $2 contribution. Thank you very much for that. It's very generous. So yeah, I'm glad you're watching and encouraging me to do more. All right, what else? Didn't you guys have Haredim women in full cover? No. We have Haredi women who put on a hat so they don't show their hair. And yeah, they're like very covered in their dress, but you can always see their face. Like we never had Haredi women where their face is covered. We didn't have that. Is it forbidden to go to Mecca as a non-Muslim? Yes, it's forbidden. That's why I didn't do it. There was an Israeli journalist who like made a video about him going to Mecca against the rules. And of course, the Saudis were very insulted, and Israel got a lot of, bad rep for that and this and it was like a big scandal, and all because of his, because he wanted his moment of fame, like, look, I snuck into Mecca, and it was really, he pissed everyone off. Like he pissed the Saudis off, of course, because he like broke their rules. You're in their country, it's their rules. But also he pissed a lot of Israelis off because it's like, why are you doing this? Like you wanna like just ruin our potential relations with Saudi Arabia? What, you want to insult Muslims? You want to like, what's your deal? Like, and then he's like, oh, I just wanted to see the experience. It's like, no, you wanted to be clever and show that you snuck in. That's what you wanted to do, and you did, and you caused a lot of damage. So for me, it was like, no, like I'm gonna do by the rules. And I read up before, and I've seen other vloggers like Drew Binsky and like a lot of vloggers who who'd been to Medina as non-Muslim, right? Mecca is haram; it's not allowed. Medina was like that, but since especially since they issued the tourist visa, 2019, 2020, like it's like officially, like based on again the available information, and it's kind of partial, is that Medina you are allowed to visit Medina as a tourist, but there are places in Medina you're not allowed to go, specifically the mosque. Now there were some other places that again, it wasn't clear. And that's what I was scared of. Like I was scared of doing something I'm not supposed to do, especially filming it, uploading it, because I wanted to do things, by the book. So for example, an example of like a gray area is Mount Uhud. Anyone who's Muslim here, you know about Mount Uhud. It's in Medina. It's again, a location. It's important in the Quran and everything. And I was reading up, like, are you allowed to go up Mount Uhud? And like in some sources it said yes, and some sources it said no. So I was like, I wasn't sure. And in the end, I was like, okay, I'll pass on that. So I went to Mount Sela, which actually had a more unique story, as you saw. That's how I ended up there, right? Because I was looking for an alternative to Mount Uhud, and that's how I found out the story about the Sela and the whole, So yeah, it's basically. Also, I can tell you another story, which is that while I had seen other vloggers who could approach the mosque, not enter but approach, and I saw, I asked that lady, right, and you saw in the video where I asked if I'm allowed to go there, and they said yes, and I read online if you're allowed to go there, and said yes, and then, but there was one guy who, when I asked him, he said no, you're not allowed to go, you have to leave. One out of like 6 people that I asked, like where you're allowed to go. So, like in the end, I went with what the majority said and what I read online, which is that you're allowed, which seems, from what I see from the reactions, I didn't see many people saying, oh, you weren't allowed to be there. But I'm just saying that because until recently they didn't have tourism in Saudi Arabia and they didn't have in Medina, like there's still confusion as to what you're allowed to do in Medina. Like it's not, like if the average person doesn't know, right? So if you see the average person who's there, he won't be able to necessarily tell you what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. So that's something that might change with the, Saudi Arabia opening up more and more tourism, where they make it more clear where it's okay to go, where you can take pictures, where you can, like tourism stuff. The same way that the Vatican, for example, anyone can go, but when they have mass, then you're not supposed to go because people want to go pray there. These are things that you figure out with time, and then it becomes clear what's accepted to do and what not. Why didn't you visit the town of Khaybar? It was near Medina. Who said I didn't visit? Next question. How did you find the food? Any particular dish do you recommend? Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get that much to experience the Saudi food. Not in this video that I made. There's another video that will be coming out where I did eat some Saudi food, and you'll see. But also, like, it's hard because in Riyadh, there's like so much chain food and so much, also like a lot of Pakistani restaurant food, like cheap food because there's a lot of like Pakistani workers there and stuff like that, Indian workers, things like that. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really, sometimes there were some places where you get shawarma a bit and you get, some of those kind of things, but I didn't really eat, like, say I experienced the Saudi cuisine. Dates mostly, that's which are great. They have amazing dates and variety of dates, and that was the main thing. The dates and the coffee was like the main thing on that. So. Okay, where did you stay during your trip, and how was the accommodation? So, Anna says, congratulations on the boom of your views on the Saudi vid. Thank you, but I'm actually I'm not that excited about the views because I want more, Like I think, okay, we're going close to 20,000 now. Let's see how much we're at now. That's kind of what I expected as the minimum, for this video because, the subject is an explosive subject, like Israeli and Saudi Arabia, and my audience is a lot of that subject. So like I was, like if I'd gotten less than 20,000 at this point, I'm not at 20,000, I'm almost at 20,000. If I'd gotten less than what I got now, I would be super disappointed. You know, so what I have now, it's like, okay, that's what I expected, but I'm expecting this video by the end of the month to be at over 100,000, you know, or maybe 200,000. Like this video needs to get a lot more than what it's gotten. It's place in the YouTube sphere. It's a unique video on a sensitive subject. It's a good video also, as a lot of people here said. So yeah, it's just, okay, we're doing okay. It needs to go up a lot more than what it is. Has to go up. And maybe when I put out more videos from Saudi, that will also, you know, generate more for this one. But no, it's not enough what we have now. 20,000, not 20,000, 18,700. No. After, yeah, a bit over 24 hours, we need to be like in the next days at 50,000 on this video. We have to. That's just like being fair to the video. Like if we're unfair to the video, like the video gets more than it deserves, as a lot of shitty videos on YouTube do, then this video should be like at 1 million soon. All right, let's go back to the streaming thing. Okay. Okay, so they're trying to make Saudi Arabia a tourist country. It seems impossible as long as Saudi Arabia doesn't offer cheaper and more feasible opportunities. So it's not, they have some cheaper options. Like in Riyadh, there's one hostel that it was fully booked, or maybe two hostels, but they were booked when I was there. I got a hotel there in the city center for $32 a night, which is not that bad. And then later, there were a couple nights when I was in the airports in the north. So I was there and I got one for like less than 20 a night, which is very cheap. It's very far away, but you know. Yeah, I mean, so I'm saying there are cheaper options. In Medina, there's a lot of cheap options because, again, you know, during Umrah and Hajj and stuff, it's packed. So when you're not there in tourist season, there's all these like crummy hotels that are super cheap. I stayed in Medina for $15 a night, 1.5 in my own room. So that's super cheap. So yeah, there are some cheaper options, but it's still expensive and they haven't, like, need hostels, you know, hostels, cheap guest houses. That's also like what attracts a lot of the influencers and vloggers like myself, you know, when you have those, and then the recommendations and, you know, it's, so yeah, I mean, we'll see if they'll do that or not. It will definitely help them. Are you in Saudi Arabia now? No. You gave into the haircuts and travel videos. Yeah. Yeah. Well, basically, when I was in Abu Dhabi, I wanted to make a video with this influencer there who has like, he's like pro-Israel and he has a good relationship with Israel and stuff like that to talk about things. And then he kind of bailed on me. So I didn't really have an idea for a video. I didn't have that many options for a video idea. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, it's not really my style of videos because, you know, it's all very kind of like touristic sites and, you know, you can't really film everywhere there. And so, I mean, I just didn't have that many options of what to make for a video. And then I was like, I needed to get a haircut. Okay, we'll film the haircut. You know? Why not? So yeah. Okay, he says, I visited Israel in 2019 for holiday. Oh, wow, from Sudan. Okay, how were you able to do that? And the solution is peace, not war. Don't forget Al-Bek restaurant. So yeah, I was at Al-Bek. Al-Bek, it's like the Saudi Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, it's like a fast food chicken restaurant that they have that's very yummy and it has a kind of interesting taste. And Unknown says, I love the experience with hostels. Yeah, hostels are fun because you meet people and stuff like that, which I didn't get to do when I was there. Are there any plans to travel to Iran? No, because it's too dangerous to travel to Iran. But do I want to travel to Iran? Of course. Iran is like the number one place I want to go to. Like Iran is like my dream destination to travel to. Hopefully, if they get rid of the Ayatollah, then I can go. Maybe that's not such a crazy thing that the Ayatollah will go, like the Islamic Republic will be replaced, considering the blows that they got from, you know, Syria and Hezbollah and Iran and everything, and Hamas and everything, like the Iranians, and now Trump, like the Iranians have taken a hit. Is it enough to get rid of the regime there? I don't know. Okay, how did you find the weather during your trip? Was it as you expected? Weather was nice. I was there in mid-November, and it was pretty decent. I mean, yeah, sometimes in the middle of the day it was hot, but not crazy, crazy hot that you can't survive. Like I even walked sometimes in the heat, in the middle. Like I found myself sometimes walking at 2 in the afternoon with no shade, and I survived. Like it's a bit tough. You wear a hat, you have to drink a lot of water, but so I'm saying that's at the worst. And in the evening, it's nice, it's cool, and in the morning, it's nice and cool because it's the season. It's mid-November, December. It's the weather is good in Saudi. So yeah, it's still hot during the middle of the day, but especially in Dammam, it was really bad. I don't know if you saw that in the video where I'm like, I came back to my hotel because it's the middle of the day because it was really hot. But like, can't complain about the weather, and it's not humid. You don't sweat. It's like decent weather, for traveling, for vlogging. It was nice. Isn't it risky to speak Arabic because of your accent? No, because if you think about it, you're the average person in Saudi Arabia. Like you see someone, you'll never expect that he's from Israel. It's so out of left field. It's like because they have tourists there and stuff, and it's just like, oh wow, he's speaking with a what? Like you think they recognize an Israeli accent in Arabic? Like, nah, I wasn't afraid of. Like there was just no way I would guess that I'm from Israel. No way. Not in Saudi Arabia. Maybe in a place like Egypt where they have, in Sinai and this. It's like you're walking around with God, then you speak some Arabic. Like, oh, that's an Israeli act. Like, no. Iran is pretty non-hostile to American tourists, contrary to what media often portrays. Yeah, but still, if you're from U.S. or Britain, they can like have someone like, they can have someone follow you supposedly, right? Um, they don't necessarily do that, but like when you come from the U.S. and Britain, from what I understand, but especially from the U.S., because of the tensions between them, that they can like interrogate you or like have someone like follow what you're doing. And remember, yeah, I might have an American passport, but I have an Israeli passport also, so it's like the thing. I mean, like we are literally in a hot war now between Israel and Iran. It's not even a Cold War anymore. Like they fired thousands of rockets at us. We're fighting their proxies, Hezbollah and Hamas. War. You wander in there as an Israeli person. It's like, no, it's way too dangerous. If you get caught, nobody will save you. It's not like in Saudi if something happens. Okay, like no, it's just not possible. Can you travel to Russia, show a place where Germans to Stalin? Germans didn't surrender to Stalin in Russia. They surrendered in Berlin. All right. What did AWOL say that you respond? Would you feel safe saying you're from Israel and Tunisia? Depends where. Depends on the crowd. In some places, yeah. Some places, no. You know? Like I'm pretty sure I could do Tunisia safely. But again, I'm just like, for now, I'm on a break from that whole, I'm going to take a break from that. I still have some really good videos from Saudi Arabia coming up. I think also when I go back to Israel, I don't know when that's going to be. I'll probably still do some coexistence stuff, some Arab stuff. Maybe I'll visit the Palestinian territories, depending on what certain things. So there's still going to be like some of that content, but I don't see myself in the near future, for example, going to Tunisia or Kyrgyzstan or Pakistan. Like these are things that I had planned. Like it's taking this is gonna take a break from that for a while, They probably suppose that you are from Germany or France because Israelis pronounce R like Germans. Yeah, maybe, but like a lot of people when I was Saudi thought that I'm from Egypt. Uh, because especially when I was in Medina, and there were a lot of foreigners there, right? So they don't know. Um, their Arabic isn't that good either, so they can't recognize accent like all these Pakistani tourists, Indian Muslims, Indonesians, So, but like there were a bunch of them in Medina who thought I was Egyptian because there are people in Egypt, particularly in Alexandria, where a lot of there were a lot of Greeks and stuff like that, where they have look more like me, as opposed to in Aswan where they look more like Sudanese, you know. So I got a lot of that. My accent is more like close to Lebanese Syrian, so also I start speaking Arabic. They're like, "Oh, you sound like you're Lebanese." Um, but yeah, I mean, nobody thought I was from Germany. Uh, but yeah, nobody guessed. Not many people guess, like, oh, where are you from? Like, you're from here, right? Like, they guess. Like, they usually just ask where you're from, and then I answer. But yeah, there were some of the pilgrims in Medina who thought I was from Egypt. It's not the first time people think I'm from Egypt. Well, when I was in Azerbaijan, also, I had a few people who thought I was from Egypt. So yeah, but yeah. What, bro? There's no one look like you and Alex. Um, I don't know. I saw a lot of people in Alexandria look like me, like blue-eyed, green-eyed. Um, but whatever. Like I don't care. Like I don't care what I look like, and I don't care what people. Like I don't even go into that argument of like the looks and stuff. People like obsessed over it, especially in Israel. Oh, you look like this. You look like that. Fine. You can think whatever you want. Like I don't care. I'm just recounting like my experience that I had and when I was in. Again, these are not people from Egypt who think I'm from Egypt. These are people from other countries, right? So they're like, think if you're from Pakistan, what do you know? Like, it's also part of it is context, right? You're in Medina, so what is the guy doing in Medina? Oh, you must be a Muslim. Okay, so what type of Muslim are you? They look at you. What type of Muslim are you? You know, what are you a Muslim from where? You're obviously not an Indonesian Muslim, so what could you be? Okay, well maybe Egypt. You know what I mean? Like there's a context thing as well. I don't know what their process is going through their brain. I just know that like I've been told some people ask, "What, you from Egypt?" That's what they asked me. I'm just telling you what happened. I have no reason to lie about it. You can go to Pakistan, just don't say you're Israel. Okay. Nah, blue eyes and green are not by Greece. It's actual thing from ancient Egypt. Yeah, maybe. Again, I don't know what the. I just know. I'm not saying I'm an expert on the whole lineage thing. I just know that from being in Egypt, from my observation, right? You go to Cairo, okay, there's all kinds of whatever, but like for example, it's very noticeable. You go to Aswan, which is in southern Egypt, besides the fact that they have a lot of Nubians, or black, of course, the Aswanese Egyptians are much more dark skinned. They're closer to the look of the North Sudanese because they're close geographically. You go to Alexandria or Alexandria as they call it, right? And you see that the people are more light skinned and some of them have blue eyes, you know? They look different. Like not everyone, right? You can find a lighter skinned guy in Aswan and you can find a darker skinned guy in Alexandria. But I'm saying there's a noticeable difference in the appearance of the people. Do you think what's happening in Syria is good or bad for Israel? Time will tell. I'm not going to get too much into the geopolitics now. Yeah. What was the most memorable part of your trip? Plan a Bakishian trip. Not Bakishian? What's Bakishian? Bangladesh safer choice, says Anna. Yeah, I was thinking of going to Bangladesh at one point, but then I was like, why would you? It's a problem when you go to places like Bangladesh and India because you just like amass a huge following from there, and then it can f up your algorithm. Like you have to be in places like India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. You should only Philippines. You should only go to these places after you have a very big channel. If you go at the beginning, then your whole channel is going to veer towards that audience, and it's going to be really hard to escape from that. What do Israelis think about LGBTQ rights? Depends who. Like in Tel Aviv is very liberal and everything, and they're pro. They're ultra orthodox, less so. But still, like Israel's like the most tolerant, open, friendly country for gays in the Middle East. That's like for sure. Um, you ain't going back to Egypt. Exodus. Okay. You should go to the Saudi Yemen border. The coffee and nature there are really good. That's interesting. I was also a bit like, I heard that's an area that's a little bit more problematic to go to because, the Saudis in southern Saudi Arabia who have like some affinity with Yemen, and there's been some like infiltration from Yemen. Like that's the area, for example, that what's his face, Bin Laden used to hang out in, right? Like, I don't know. I'm sure it's fine, but like it's a little bit more sketchy area. Plan a Pakistan trip now. What's a Pakistan trip? Like Pakistan? Can you give us the stats of your channel? Which countries watch you the most? Um, I'm not sure there's a statistic of like general your channel, the audience, which countries they come from, but there is per video, yeah. So of course it depends on the video. So for example, my video from Egypt, most of the viewers are from Egypt, but yeah, I mean generally speaking, it's the top. My biggest audience is in the U.S. And then after the US, it's like a decent sized audience in UK, Israel, Canada, some. And then, yeah, there tends to be a bit of an audience from Egypt, like is left over from my Egypt video and some followers from Egypt, especially on videos that have to do a bit with Islam, things like that. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, in some videos I got like some from Germany and some from Sweden. We have Anna here from Sweden watches me. So yeah, it's US is the biggest audience, and then like the next biggest is, again, it makes sense because these are like the English speaking countries, right? So the next biggest is UK and Israel, which also makes sense. And then there's some like from Australia on this. So, but it's a good audience to have as a YouTuber because that's the audience that pays you more per ad revenue, right? Like if you have 1,000 views from the US, it's worth a lot more money than 1,000 views from India. So, watching from USA, Florida, USA. See, yeah. Which of those UAE countries that you visited did you prefer, and what of your content did you like the most? So yeah, I mean, for me, the most interesting was Bahrain, out of the Gulf countries, because I'd been already to Dubai before. I hadn't been to Abu Dhabi, but Abu Dhabi was kind of like Dubai, and Bahrain had kind of like a more unique vibe than Dubai, Abu Dhabi, like so. So Bahrain was nice, but to say that it was that crazy, interesting and amazing to be there, I don't know. Like Bahrain also, they have some other stuff that you can see, but you need a car, like the Tree of Life, which is like a tree that's in the middle of the desert that blooms, and some other like snorkeling sites and stuff. So I was just in Manama. So yeah, it was nice. But again, it's a small country. There's not that much to see there. Yeah, there is Sudanese soldiers. Wait, I'm just gonna change my angle here a little bit. Let's see what I can get done with this. So someone here says, oh, so yeah, that's what happens when you have an improvised. I just have to lean back here on something. Okay. Is that comfy? Yeah. So someone here says there's an improvised. Wait, no. Oh, Sudanese soldiers between the Saudi and Yemeni borders. So yeah, that's part of the stuff going on there. What would you do if you fell in love with a Palestinian girl? Who knows? But I'd probably give it a chance if I could. Wait, come on. Why is this go straight? Okay. I spotted poor Indians working in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, like there's poor Indians working in the UAE and a bunch of other places all over the world. You have poor Indians working, unfortunately. Are you going to visit Jordan soon? Probably not. Not in this climate. Not in this climate of the post October 7th. It's rough. I hope Finnish viewers give you some money too. I didn't know that YouTube pay more if watching videos from USA. Yeah, it's a huge difference. It's not like it pays a little bit more. It's 10 times more. It's 15 times more. Like the difference is there's a girl in Israel. She's Indian Jewish, right? She was born in India and she moved to Israel. and we had the same number of views per month, which was around 250,000 views per month, and my revenue was like 10 times hers, 10x what she was making. Because her whole channel is about India, Israel, Indian girl in Israel or something, whatever. So all her viewers are from India, almost all of them. And like I'm making 10 times the money she's making. And again, I also have some viewers from India, some from Indonesia, some from Malaysia, from my video in Malaysia. So it's not like all my audience is US. So like if all my audience was US, I'd be making like 15 times what she's making. You remind me of Netflix show Fauda, yeah. I don't know why, but yeah, it's interesting. It's a good show. Again, thoughts on what's going on in Syria? Well, that wasn't really supposed to be the subject of this video, but I'm more open to answer that because we haven't talked about it. Like I've talked about the Israel-Palestine. I've talked 100 times about the subject. So, anyone who's watched my live stream know my views. But Syria, yeah, I haven't talked about Syria. So we can talk a little bit about Syria. To be honest, I haven't followed closely enough damn it, I have something here on my phone, like a dot. Wait, a dot. It's like really annoying. Like I'm looking at my face here as I'm talking and there's this dot. All right, we got rid of it. So, I can't say that I'm like super informed on what's going on lately, but it looks like Assad is going, and it could have massive repercussions for the region. What's going to happen to Syria, I don't know. It could be very messy. I'm afraid of that because usually in the countries that have quite a diverse population as Syria has, when the dictator goes, all the groups inside the country start to fight. That's kind of what happened in Iraq. So I fear for Syria that there might be like a lot of internal fighting, civil war style after Assad goes. On the other hand, look, Assad was a very brutal dictator, and also he was backed by Iran. So there could be big repercussions for the Iranian, influence in the region. Hezbollah, I think without Iran-backed leader in Syria could be weakened significantly. This is my wishful thinking, right? So that's kind of like what's maybe we might see happening. Yeah, like the problem with Syria is, again, there's a lot of different groups. There's an influence of a lot of fighting groups who are, a lot of them are quite dangerous, like Islamist kind of groups. This is what Obama was stupid enough to do, right? He armed all these like Islamist rebels who were very, they're anti-Assad, who's a dictator and whatnot, but they're very dangerous themselves. So it's a very precarious situation. And one that I think it's going to be messy, and there's going to be a lot of fighting and killing and misery in the near future. Like I'll be very shocked if there's some transition into like a stability from here. Hopefully from that mess will emerge something better than what was before. That's what I can say. From the like Israeli perspective, I would probably say on a whole it's better for Israel than worse, but it could also turn bad for Israel because you now have this big country that's unstable. We don't know who's going to fill the vacuum and how. So yeah, it's like it's a Pandora's box that's been opened here and can go in a lot of directions. All right. ISIS just 200 kilometers away from capturing Damascus. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, for example, ISIS is still like has some stuff going on in Syria, but there's also other Islamist groups. So like I'm saying, again, it's a Pandora's box that's been opened in Syria now, and yeah. Lauren Felix, how was the experience and what was your most scary trip in an Arab Muslim country? Dashmi Israel, hi from Israel. Yeah, so Saudi Arabia, interesting experience. I had some fearful moments in this trip in Saudi Arabia on some stuff also that I can't tell you yet because the videos are yet to come out. So you'll hear the stories later. But yeah, I had some moments of stress, paranoia. A lot of it was paranoia in my head. Like you have to understand when when you're in a country where, you know, they don't have diplomatic relations with Israel. A lot of the population is very emotional right now because of the war, and and also like if the authorities stop you or interrogate you for whatever reason, how it ends, I don't know. Like in a country like Saudi Arabia, right? It's what if you film something you're not supposed to film? You accidentally film a soldier or a military installation, for example. It's the type of thing that can happen. It happened to me in Venezuela. So I'm saying like a lot of the stress was kind of paranoia, but it never like really manifested into something that I was actually in danger at any point. But it's stressful. It was stressful. All right. Aren't ISIS almost instinct? I think you mean extinct, but almost, but not totally. Do you planning to visit Egypt soon? No, because I have my videos from Egypt. I hope you watch them. Maybe you watch them. Maybe that's why you're here. But I'm not going to go back to Egypt soon. Maybe in the future. Anna says many groups are fighting in Syria. That's true. Here's Dragon from Balkans. Good to see you. Do you live in the US or Israel? Israel. Damascus will no longer be a city, but a heap of ruins. The cities of Aroer, I don't know what that is, will be deserted, left to flocks, which will lie down. Okay, well, we'll see. Actually, surprisingly, we didn't have many spammers like this guy that just came on, this Tarek Talat. Okay, we got rid of him. Yes, I saw your videos in Egypt, says Ahmed. Cool. Yeah, I mean, again, part of it is because of the climate that we're in now, which is, of course, a very sensitive time between Israel and, Egypt because of the Palestinian thing. And also because, yeah, I have been there, put out a few videos from there. So, it's nice to know I have Egyptians who are still following me and everything. But I don't think I'll go back soon while there's like new destinations to go to. I following you when you was 1,000 subscribe. Haha, cool. So one of the originals. That's nice. This is a flag of Bhutan? Bhutan, right? You are a brave man. Going to Saudi as a Jew was a daring move. No, I don't think going as a Jew requires that much, but I think going as an Israeli is more, requires, I don't know if you call it courage or whatever, but, it's a move, right? Going as a Jew is not a big deal. You're an American Jew, you go, fine, But the problem is when you're from Israel, you know, and you're with a camera, like without a camera, I would say no problem. But as soon as you're filming, like in a lot of countries, you can get into trouble for filming the wrong things. So think if you get into you film something you're not supposed to film or whatever, you film a person and a person gets angry because you're not supposed to, for example, film women like this, and then they start asking you questions or interrogating, and then they also find out you're from Israel. That is more yeah. All right, someone here is asking some inappropriate questions, so we'll put the user in a timeout. Um, Love from Sudan. Okay, okay, yeah. So yeah, maybe it's time for a poll. A poll. What poll can you do? It's your poll. Um. Oh shit. Okay. We started a poll. We have started a poll. And you have a chance. Someone asked, what's the best place in Riyadh? I don't know, depends what you want, right? If you want history, then you can go to Diriyah, which was in the video. If you want like to see like flashy nightlife stuff, then there's the Riyadh Boulevard or Riyadh Boulevard World, which is like a theme park based on different countries stuff. If you want religion more, then there's a bunch of mosques, big nice mosques to visit. So yeah, I mean, depends what you're looking for. Depends what you're looking for. Why there aren't a lot of YouTubers Israeli? Yeah, there's not much. But there's there's a few. I mean, we have also some who do in Hebrew, right? But in English, there's a few. There's a handful. How much did they pay you to come to Saudi Arabia? Zero. Nobody paid me. I paid for it myself. Brother, what do you think about what is happening to Idio? I think you mean Ido, right? The Saluki? I don't know because, I mean, I met him for the first time. Do you know the Saluki? I met Saluki for the first time like a month and a half ago, recently. So when I was in Israel, my friend Tal, the traveling clad, who some of you may know, made a video with. He told me he's going to Haifa to meet the Saluki and make a video with him because Saluki is not making videos anymore because of his, he's recovering from whatever he was going through, and then I said, oh, like I'm gonna be in Haifa at that time because I was staying in Haifa, and I was like, oh, I'd also like to meet him. And then he said, well, let's see because because he wasn't feeling that comfortable like being in a video after not being in a video. So it was like, okay, we'll see. And then he called me, Tal, my friend Tal called me. He said, look, I'm here with the Saluki. Come meet us. We're going to get like shawarma. So yeah, and then I went and we met. Actually, the moment that we met is on camera if you want to see it for the first time, me and the Saluki. So yeah, that was like there. So in that video of Tal, there's a video of the traveling clad called "Saluki Takes Me to a War Zone" or something like that. If you see the second part of the video, you see the moment where me and the Saluki meet, and then the three of us hang out together. If you want to see that. So then I met him, and then we did a YouTubers meetup. You were asking about the Israeli YouTubers, right? So we met up, all of us, me, Tal, the traveling clad, Saluki, and Coco Girl, if some of you may know. Coco Girl also was in one of my videos from Morocco, two of my videos from Morocco with Coco Girl. So yeah, so that's like my relation to the other Israeli YouTubers, let's put it that way. Okay, so Tarek is earned his banning. All right, Vegan Runs put some Israeli and Saudi flags. Thank you, Vegan Runs. Hope so. Anna, have you thought about going to Southern US, Bible Belt, showcasing evangelical culture? You could get lots of those subscribers. That's actually not a bad idea from a strategy point of view. Like to say that it's the most interesting thing for me, no, but strategically, yeah, going Bible Belt could be not a bad move. Drama, Coco Girl, yeah, Coco Drama. Have you went to college and what did you study? I went to Ben Gurion University in Beersheba in southern Israel. Got my bachelor's there, and then I got a master's degree from IDC, which is Interdisciplinary Center in Herzliya. So first degree Beersheba, then Herzliya, and like a kind of like something communications and political science, let's call it like that. How was the low sugar dates? Better than the high sugar dates. Are there vegan options in Muslim countries? Yeah, I mean, Yeah, they eat a lot of meat, but you can eat rice stuff and you can eat, yeah, you can get down. What was your master's in? So it was like a program that was a mix of political science, marketing, and communications. Okay, so someone asked, I'm just gonna change. Oh my God, I've been sitting like in a position. See, this is the problem when you do live streams, especially when you don't have a comfy chair. You sit in positions. All right, I've just changed my position a little bit. Oh God. So yeah, someone asked, is higher education free in Israel? Also, what's the job market like? Is it hard to land jobs? So I would say, oh damn, this is really bad now because I'm really like have a lot of headspace here, which I don't like. Okay, that's a little better, I guess. But no, education's not free. It's not that expensive though, especially if you go to a state-run university, in which case it's cheaper as opposed to the private colleges, which are like $10,000 a year, but like the universities are more like three something thousand dollars a year, which is very cheap. Baba Ganush, wie genau schon? Free the USA from what? Okay, so our poll, we see 68% say yes, there's going to be normalization in the next 5 years. 32% say no. Someone asked, will you ever do a collaboration with Sergio and Ruda? They're like Israeli couple who do kind of Bible stuff videos. Maybe it's like they're less kind of my genre exactly, but you know, it's always good to collab with big channels. I'm learning Arabic as an Israeli. Yeah, more Israelis are learning Arabic now. They understand it's an important language to learn. Have you visited Jewish trips, locations in Medina? Um, kind of. You'll see in some of the next videos. Yeah. Do you think Israelis need to learn Arabic because they live in the Middle East? Yeah, absolutely. That's why I learned. What the hell? Tariq Talat came back like a necromancer. What the hell? Okay. Sergio is a Messianic Jew. Yeah, so there's that as well. I definitely need to do an episode about the Messianic Jews. That will when I come back, I'll do that. All right. Do you think traveling to Lebanon could be possible for you? No. There's a hot war now between Israel and Lebanon, so no. Yeah, I mean, Hezbollah could catch me and imprison me. And, Lori and Felix, enough with the question on the passport. I answered it already. With Oriel Moran. Yeah, maybe. Wow, Anna, you know all the YouTubers, huh? Ah, all right. Well, more forbidden. What's a forbidden neighborhood in Israel? Like the one I did in Tel Aviv? Do a collab with Moses, an Israel YouTuber. Yeah, that's what I told you. The girl who we have the same number of views, but I make like 10 times what she makes. Not that I make a lot, right? I make not that much money, but she really makes nothing. What is All Israel News, Anna? I've heard of that channel, but I don't know much about it. What is better, Moroccan couscous or Israeli couscous? They're both good. Come to Dahab next. I am here. Direct flights from Saudi to Sharm. Yeah, Dahab's not. I've been to Dahab before, of course. I actually have a video from Dahab. If you go on my channel, one of my first videos is from Dahab. Someone says come to Australia. We'll see. Yeah, that was interesting. All the graffiti and stuff. Wait, but the graffiti video was the one from Florentine neighborhood, no? Yeah. by Joe Rosenberg. Oh, Joe Rosenberg. He's like a Christian, no? Or something. Or is he Messianic? What is he? Vegan runs, how's the Israeli job market? It's decent. Decent. Especially in high tech. That's where all the money is. The Sex Pixel says you're the best. I found your channel a few days ago and I've been binging. Good. Good to know. Star Tarek Season 3. Tarek is back. We can't get rid of him. Tarek the Necromancer is like the most sophisticated bot we've ever seen. What the hell? Yeah, it's like, oh my God, can't get rid of him. It's like I'll wake up in the morning and you'll be like, Free Palestine, Free Palestine. Go get my coffee. I'll be in my phone, Free Palestine. It's like you can't get rid of the guy. Yeah. Tarek back from hell, to hell and back. Yeah. You will, again, this Psalm 83, Zephaniah 2, Jeremiah 49. What is that? What are you talking about? What are those Bible sequences? A Rouse says, can you say get the F out of my channel? I don't want to use the F word too much because it might like put restrictions on my channel, you know, when you use that kind of language. Like the algorithm can punish you. Have you seen Schindler's List? Of course. Of course. What happened? We only have 44 votes? Like usually we have more. Someone asked, are you friends with Coco Boy? No, he's the only YouTuber. He's the only Israeli YouTuber from like the travel vlogging niche who I haven't spoken to. Not because I have anything against him. Like I don't know that much about him. Just because Coco Girl reached out to me, right? Like not me to her. And then like I got talking to Coco Girl and stuff. And so yeah, like I didn't really have a chance to talk to Coco Boy, right? Who's her ex. But he's somewhere in East Asia now, I think. What else do we have here? Dun, dun, dun. No. Wait, what was I missing here? So yeah. All right, guys, what else? What else? Boy, she's getting so many views, Coco Girl. Oh my God, she must be making a killing. 200,000 views in 6 days. Damn, on this Black Israelites video. It's crazy. Crazy. That's what I'm saying. This Saudi video, what, 20? Yeah, this Saudi video has just 20,000. We need more than 20,000. Share the video with your friends, guys. Share it with your friends. Okay, what else is going on in the chat? I missed. Do you know any Israeli YouTubers who went to Tunisia? Yes, Ohad Navad, Ohad the Nomad. He's an Israeli YouTuber, but he's in Hebrew. So that's why people here don't know him as much. But in Israel, he's very famous. When I was in Israel, the Ashkenazi Jews think Israel is part of Europe, so they're not trying to get any close to any Arabic culture, community around them. I disagree, but you were in Israel, Ahmed? Where are you from? I'll catch you on the next stream, says the Sex Pixels. Cool. Zachi Gal says, yesterday, first time I saw your video in Saudi Arabia. Thank you. Why Israel has moved politically so much more right. I remember a time when most of prime ministers come from Labour Party. If you remember that time, Timo, you're not young, because you're talking about 50 years ago almost, where most of the prime ministers come from Labour Party. Since 77, since Likud took over, there's been only Rabin and Barak as left-wing like Labour prime ministers, and then there was Kadima, which is kind of centrist, and There was the unity government of the 80s, but you know, we're talking about almost 50 years where the right wing, as we call it, although I have problems with these definitions, is the dominant in Israel, you know? Misspelled your country in Pole. Yeah. Will Saudi Arabia normalize ties with Israel? Yeah, okay. Okay, what else? Star Tarek season. What? What is another Tarek? What is going on? From Egypt. Tarek is very determined. Tarek is very determined. Okay. Put the user in a time. Ahmed is spamming. There's a lot of spam. We usually have more spammers than what we have. This is like a relatively not that many spammers. How is Saudi treating you? Is it safe? Yeah, I mean, it was good. Again, I didn't really say I was from Israel most of the time, so from that perspective, it's harder for me to say. But yeah, he keep making more accounts. Like, are you telling me literally like 4 times now he's making a new account just so he can go into my live stream and say Free Palestine? Like, does that make sense to anybody? Put them on a timeout. I did. Tarek wants you to reconsider some opinions. Fine, he can do that if he wants. By the way, are you guys seeing ads? Are you seeing ads on this video? Like, because there's a question about like the live streams, how many ads you see, which is of course annoying, but it helps me monetize. Fantastic work from Libya. You're not seeing ads, says Honey Bunny? But it says, I had a thing here that says ad inserted. No, we're not. Emra says yes. Interesting. Maybe because you have YouTube Premium, some of you? I've seen one ad. Okay, because yeah, there's an option like to have ads on the live stream like you have in the regular videos because you know ads is money. Unless you guys want to contribute with the super chats or in the PayPal link, which I have. You know, support my work because we're still struggling here. We're not Coco Girl with 200,000 views on a video that came out 5 days ago yet. So yeah. Yeah, Dolphin says yes. I saw several commercials. Okay, so some are seen, some are not seen. Okay, fine. All right, fine. So yeah, maybe this video will monetize a few extra dollars to pay for my coffee, lunch, and whatever. But yeah. All right, now it's not Tarek, it's Talat. All right, let's get rid of this guy. Ahmad Brown says super chat all the way. Yeah. So the thing about like when you want to get donations from the live streams, it's a funny thing because what's good about super chat is that other like people are seeing like the super chat in the thing, so it's like, oh, they're donating, I'll donate, right? So like it gets the ball rolling. On the other hand, though, super chat takes like YouTube, they take a significant cut from super chats. So that's why a lot of YouTubers always ask to get the payment in PayPal because in PayPal, you're not YouTube isn't taking whatever it is 30+% from the super chat. So that's the thing. But on the other hand, yeah, it's cool when you have like a really good live going and people are donating in the super chat and you know everyone's like showing their support, then that's cool. And like PayPal can't do that with YouTube. It makes sense to a certain extent. YouTube right there, it's like, okay, you're on my platform, then But on the other hand, it's pretty crazy that it's one thing that the ad revenue is 50-50, right? But that literally someone is donating you money through YouTube and they take like 30+%, I think that's too much. Here's for your coffee as well, says Archie. Thanks. Look, let's see. Hopefully the Saudi series will do well. We're also in December, right? Which is a month of like where the revenue is higher. This is like Christmas month, so hopefully we'll get like a real explosion of views from not just this Saudi videos but others, and that will we'll get some nice revenue this month. This is a month where like I have to make a lot of money to make up for the previous months and coming months where I'm spending more. So yeah. YouTube needs to pay data center engineers to push a video to Asia, Africa. But I don't really want to push my video to Asia because, you know, it could like veer my whole audience to Asia where the payouts are much less. So it's not necessarily a good thing. Not if it overwhelms my like American and British audience and Israeli audience. So it depends. Like when I was in Malaysia, I got in Indonesia and stuff, and in the Philippines, I got a lot of viewers, but it actually hurt my channel kind of. Mm-hmm. Wait, Archie, where are you from, Archie? Archie, do you know that I had a dog? My parents had a dog called Archie that was like the cutest thing you could imagine. The cutest thing ever. I love that dog so much, Archie. He was like, oh man, everybody who saw that dog loved that dog. His full name was Archibald. Archibald, Archie the dog. Oh, damn, I miss him. He passed away. So cute. All right. What? Tarek? What the hell? Bloody hell. Star Tarek season 7. Okay, Idani is has the what's it called? He's keeping track of how many restorations of Tarek we've had. So it's season 7, huh? Moates asks, when was your visit to Saudi Arabia? It was you know, like I left a bit over a week ago. That's when I left. Archie says I'm of Libyan, Tunisian heritage. Found out I'm of Jewish origin as well recently. Cool. Do you accept payment in Syrian pounds? But yeah, I mean, like the PayPal, what happens is PayPal, they do some type of conversion, right? So, yeah. What do you think about visiting Somalia, Somaliland, or Djibouti? You can visit them with the second passport. So yeah, what I'm saying is, again, all these places are interesting, but I'm kind of like I want to take a break from the visiting with the second passport, hiding kind of thing, you know? Like it harms your soul. Seriously. Like it's you know, after that time in Saudi, but for example, when I was in Indonesia, I was over 3 weeks in Indonesia, and like at some point I was just like, you know, I was so happy to get out of there, you know? Not because I have a problem with Indonesians, but just like being in that situation where you're, you know, you're in a country that you don't have diplomatic relations with, and you have, you know, it's like Star Tarek has come back again. Star Trek season 8, Star Tarek season 8. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna end the poll. Most people think that there's gonna be normalization, and then we'll add another poll. How many? Okay. Okay, how many Tareks will we have by the end of the stream? We've had 8 already. We have Idani who's keeping track. So yeah, we've had 8. So it could be 10, 13, 15, 20 or above. Let us know. Hello from Albania. When you come to Israel on May 1st, will you offer me some beer and Jaffa? Of course, if you come, you're welcome. Anna, unknown. My mom's Ashkenazi? I didn't know that. Okay, so Tarek is reached number 9. He says 1,000. Bro. Okay, I need a moderator. I can't deal with the Tarek by myself. So um oh, wait a second. So yeah. Anna, you're the I've added you as a moderator. Okay, so I put Anna and Idani because Idani's keeping track. So you guys can help me. If Tarek reappears, then you can get rid of him, right? Much love from Iran. You were in Tunisia? No, I wasn't in Tunisia. Nothing says I was with you in Al Ula. All right. The guide. I forgot your name. Sorry. You introduced yourself. So yeah, tell me nothing. No, don't tell me nothing, but tell me about yourself. What's going on? Yeah. Maybe we should come to Finland, go to northern Finland, and see Northern Lights and Santa. Santa. Huh? Christian Prince is awesomely. Yeah, Adele. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, Adele, what do you think of the video? The main Saudi. It's not the video. It's not the Alula video yet. That will come later. But what do you think of the main Saudi video? Let me know. Fried everything. Does Philippines support Israel? Generally, yeah. Iran will be friends and will have peace with Israel. I hope so. I hope so. Star Tarek season 10. Okay, we're already at Tarek 10. It was great. Thank you. So yeah, Alula video. We got the Alula video. So I gave it away. Yeah. So I met Adele when I was in Alula, and he is guide there, and he saw some of my videos as well. So yeah, there's gonna be a video from Alula among others, and some other stuff. Why you were so emotional in Saudi Arabia? Because it was like it was like the video I really wanted to make, and because of the again post October, like I was on my way to Saudi. I mean, it wasn't on my way. I didn't have a ticket, but I basically made up my mind that I want to go to Saudi Arabia, and then October 7th happened. So everything was kind of the whole situation became more tense, and it was kind of like a video that I really wanted to make, and I kind of held back from making it. So when I finally got there, and the experience, it was like an emotional experience for me to be there. It was kind of like think you have this goal, something that you, and then like when you're finally there, it's a big deal. It's Omar says, hey, from Egypt. I thought you were going to be Muslim after Saudi Arabia video low. Nah, I wasn't gonna be Muslim, but yeah, it was of course interesting, fascinating to see like the Islamic history in Saudi Arabia and see Medina and everything. So yeah, it was a great experience. What foods did you try in Saudi Arabia? So again, I didn't have that many culinary experience in Saudi Arabia. Like I'm being honest. There was like a restaurant in Riyadh that has like lots of Saudi food. I thought about maybe going there, and then in the end I didn't. So yeah, just didn't make it into the video so much to Saudi food. But also like from my personal experience, I can't say that I experienced that much Saudi food. I wish they opened the Rafah border for us Egyptians. I need to fly from Cairo to Cyprus to Tel Aviv. Yeah, but you don't go through the Rafah boarding, Omar. You go through the Taba border crossing. You can go through the Taba border crossing. Israelis are going to Sinai through the Taba border crossing, so it's open. But you might have some problem with the Israeli security because of the situation, and with the Egyptian security when you get back, right? A lot lot of Egyptians tell me, like, the problem for Egyptians going to Israel is when they get back, they have to deal with the Egyptian intelligence and everything. Like, what were you doing in Israel and all that? So, yeah. Have you tried camel meat? No, I heard it's very raw, rough, hard, like, you know? Alec, I don't follow lots of videos. I have a life, you know. Yeah, but you know what's going on in the YouTube scene. Try kapsa. It's Saudi national dish. Yeah, so kapsa, there will be kapsa in the next video, I promise. So wait for that. Alec changed his name to Abdul Rahim post Saudi visit. If I would change my name, it would be to Ali because when I say like my name's Alec and they're like, what, Alec? Ali? I am like, yeah, Ali. My name's Ali. So yeah. Nothing is kosher in Saudi. Yeah, but I don't keep kosher. Why do you choose to travel alone? Because as a vlogger, it's best to be alone because then you can do like exactly what you want for the vlog. I am looking though to do some collaborations, potentially with like, I would like to do some collaborations with some bigger YouTubers, obviously for exposure, but also just to, like it gets lonely being alone. It's fun to be with other people. You know, when I made videos with Tal, the traveling cloud, it was fun. We were hanging out. Videos with Coco Girl, like we were hanging out. It was fun, you know, like you. So that's one of the reasons also people do collabs, just to like, just to, for the fun, the interest, being with other people. You know, you get tiring being by yourself. Honestly, when I visit Israel, I remove my stamp from the passport. So that's not an issue because you don't stamp your passport when you visit Israel. Not anymore. You get a little card that they print out, which is that's your stamp. You're supposed to hold on to that during your stay, and then you leave, and then you throw it away. So if you visit Israel, when you leave, you have no Israel stamp in your passport. So when I say there's a problem for Egyptians, it's only because the intelligence, like at the border, they pass on the information or something, or if you put up pictures on your social, like I don't know how they find out, but it's not from the stamp. Go to Jerba, Tunisia. Where's the Jewish community? Yeah, that's interesting. Sneak into Mecca? No, thank you. Do you see peace between Saudi and Israel in the near future? Hopefully. I mean, we just did the poll, yeah? Is it going to happen in the next 5 years? 61% said yes. I hope it does. Simon Shirzad puts a star. But yeah, I'm like kind of, well, let's see if there's a, what do we have here? Okay, so we're almost at 20K on the Saudi video, but this is need to be greedy. Need to be greedy. I don't want 20,000. I want 200,000 on this video in, by the end of the month. Minimum. Like if I get less than 200,000 videos on this by the end of the month, I'll be disappointed. So hopefully the momentum will stay. And unknown. Alec, you already knew that my mom was a Jew. Yeah. Yeah, I just like forgot for a second. What else? Are you still in Saudi Arabia? No. I'm not in Saudi Arabia anymore. So yeah, it would have been good had I been there. Like in that sense, it could have been good because then I could have, met some people and stuff like that. And, but yeah, you can't have it all in life. You can't have it all. So we have here only 36 votes. Most Iranians love Israel, says Simon. And yeah, and most Israelis love Iran. What's there not to love about Iran? I've met Iranians on my travels, the nicest, best people you can meet, really. And the expats, none of them are pro-regime or anything, so they have no problem with Israel. We never had problems. Israel and Iran, what problems do we have? Our relationship goes back like 2,500 years, back to Cyrus the Great. And yeah, and Jews lived in Iran and still do live in Iran. So it's all it's all Khomeini and now Khamenei, right? But it's the Islamic Revolution effed it up, and hopefully we'll go back to the way it should be. What are the highest paying jobs in Israel? High tech. Did you spend time with those Iranians? Yeah, like lots. When I was in Amsterdam, I met one guy, and when I was in Armenia, I met a few, and I've met them on my travels, and it's always been great, nicest people, and it's not fake nice, like it's genuine warmth. Like I've met some, like when I was in Azerbaijan, I met an Egyptian guy, and he was polite and everything, but he was underneath. You can see that he wasn't, he doesn't like me. You know what I mean? Not me, maybe personally, but like there was like a hostility to Israel. And then he also asked me, "What are you guys doing in Gaza?" And, like with the Iranians, it's just war. It's never a problem. Never had a problem with the Iranians. Maybe the day will come where I'll meet an anti-Israeli Iranian, but I haven't met one yet. So yeah, Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you. I have an Iranian colleague, Nasreen, who's also a subscriber of yours, and she loves Israel. Yeah, so I'm saying again, like even in Iran, probably the majority are against the regime. I mean, there's enough regime supporters that they survive, like 30%, 40%, whatever it is. But outside Iran, all the expats, they're vast majority of them are anti-regime and are no problem with Israel. They even like Israel because they understand that the obsession of the Ayatollah with Israel has destroyed their country. You know. So yeah. What else? What else? Wait. So Iran. Who was the? Where are we in Star Tarek? Star Tarek season. Oh, Idani, you just got rid of. Idani, Star Tarek season what? What season are we in Star Tarek? 10 still, okay. I think you'll get more views if the media is going to release got your video and start showing it all over. Trust you'll get millions. Yeah, so that's the thing. I thought about that. Maybe that would happen. Like at some point, some of the Saudi media, like Al Arabiya or something, will find out about it. And then, but I'm also wondering if that's a good thing because it might expose you to the wrong type of people and create all kinds of bad energy. So we'll see. We'll see if any media picks up on it. And you know, I'm also kind of one of the concerns I had. One of the concerns that I had when in Saudi was the fact that I'm not telling people I'm from Israel, and then I'm filming them, right? And then once something's on the internet, it can get out of control. Like it can be shared on TikTok and on this, and people don't know what the context is. So kind of like one of the concerns I had and still have is that like I wasn't. It's also one of the reasons I wasn't that keen on like telling people I'm from Israel on camera because it puts them in a very tricky position. A Saudi person. Like on the one hand, in Saudi Arabia, you're expected to be courteous to guests and be nice and so forth. On the other hand, most of the population support the Palestinians there, right? So if you're too nice to the Israeli guy, then they'll say you're like a sellout or whatever. Like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like so you're putting someone in a position on camera where he has to be like extremely careful, diplomatic with what he says. And like I wasn't that keen on putting people into that position when they don't really know what they're getting into. So, that was also a thing. Like one of it was the thing with me also. Like I was thinking about the Saudi people themselves, like what kind of situation they could get into for being in my video. That's also why I was very careful to like ask permission before I filmed people. And you saw some of that in the video where I asked permission before that I didn't want to just like start filming someone and then, like this thing, it's a sensitive thing and, it can, who knows where the whole thing will go. You are very not right on what you are saying. I would think the same. But a Muslim will always be right, nice even to Israeli. Well, no, they won't always be nice. Yeah, so often they will be nice, and sometimes no, as happened to me in Egypt, as happened in, you know, also in the story from Jeddah, which I told earlier, and then about the guy who he didn't even say, I didn't say I was from Israel. I just said I was Jewish, and he had a bad reaction. So you don't know. Um, Okay. Tell me about that interview, Saudi, with the tall black man at the horse race. Who was he? So he was a British guy working for the horse racing like channel in Saudi Arabia, right? So they have the race course there, the King Abdulaziz. It's the race course is where they have the Saudi Cup, which is a super like prestigious, high-paying horse race with $20 million in prize money. And they have like a horse racing culture there. So they have Arabian horse races, thoroughbred horse races, camel races, I think also at certain times. So they have a channel that covers that stuff. And that guy was working for that channel. He's not Saudi, but he was a reporter there. I'd seen him. I saw him before he came to me. Like he was going. He's interviewing the owners and the jockeys and the this and like they have a broadcast. And then at one point, I was like, I was nearby. He saw me talking to some of the people, and he was like, "Oh, you want to do an interview? So maybe we'll put it on air." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So then it was just like an interview for their channel of like, "Oh, look, there's a foreigner here who's come. Like, what's his impressions of it, and so forth." I'm not sure 100% it even made it on air in the end. Like it was because it wasn't live the interview, and then. Yeah, I looked at their YouTube channel and I didn't see it, but maybe they put it later, so I'm not sure. ZRN has sent a very generous contribution of $10. Thank you for your diplomatic videos. Enjoy watching your vlogs. Thank you. Very generous. Amazing. Okay. How much money you need to live a comfortable life in Israel? A lot. Well, it depends what you define comfortable, but I think, and if you have a family or not, but you need a lot. You need a lot. Haifa shawarma is the best. Yeah. And super expensive. Like the $10 contribution I got, that's not gonna cover the Haifa shawarma. For example, just to understand how expensive it is there. It's like cost a lot. Ding, 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 ding. All right, so we have here, damn, 56% thought that Tarek would come back at least 20 times, and it looks like he's given up. Yeah, and probably is cheaper in Stockholm, even though Stockholm's not that cheap a place. But yeah, it looks like Tarek, guys, it looks like Tarek is gone. I think Tarek gave up. Ahmed Jabbar says you can enter the Prophet's mosque and learn from the Imam about Islam. Yeah, but you can enter the mosque? I don't know. I wasn't, I was not gonna enter the mosque. Someone says sabich is great. It is. Israeli food, sabich, the best. Whoever said Israel 10 is probably right, yeah. We overestimated Tarek because at the beginning he was coming back like with a frenzy, with a vengeance. Every time he was kicked, he came back within 1 minute. So we're like, oh my God, Tarek is like, he's indestructible. He's going to keep coming back. But, eventually. Idea for a poll: is Alec a sinner or a righteous person? Why you don't visit Mecca? Because it's for Muslims only, Mecca. Is 700 pounds enough for one person for 5 days in Israel? Depends. Depends where you're staying. But yeah, that would be the bare minimum if you're on a budget. If you're on a budget. Which Arab country is next? I don't know. I'm running out of options. So yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Qatar. Fuck Qatar. Fuck Qatar. And like I say that in me as I'm diplomatic and I love everyone and I'm willing to give every country a chance, every people a chance, but I have a special place in my heart for anti-Qatar sentiment. I think it's the ultimate. A tribe in a desert happened to sit on an oil field. Then Western powers who knew what oil is, told them about the oil, told them how to extract the oil. They became rich through no merit of their own, and then they used their money for the most nefarious things, like attacking those same countries that helped them through their propaganda outlet Al Jazeera, and attacking Israel relentlessly and lying about Israel through Al Jazeera. And they have nothing. They have some big buildings, and they did the World Cup there. F them. No, I'm not going to Qatar. Qatar. The last place on earth I will step foot in is Qatar. You mean gas? Yeah, they also have gas and oil. They have gas and oil. Never stepping foot in Qatar. And it's the only country I'll say that about. Every other country I'll give a chance, not Qatar. Useless. Can't say a single positive thing about them. Why can't Israel treat Jews and Arabs as equal citizens like the USA? They do. Why? What Arab citizens in Israel? What rights do I have that they don't have? Name me one. Oman is peaceful, says Andrew. True. Oman is a great country. I really want to go there. Why would they lie about Israel? Because they're Muslim Brotherhood, Qataris. If you wonder why universities in the US hate Israel, just know Qatar has donated $4.7 billion to them. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Not to mention the money they put into in the UK, in Oxford, where they had the debate recently. It's funded by Qatar. All these things are funded by Qatar. Wait, it's Dolphin? Dolphin, are you Pondering Dolphin? The one who responds to my videos all the time? Pondering Dolphin? But yeah, I'm kind of a bit concerned because the Saudi video is kind of slowed down a little bit. At its peak at the beginning, it was getting 1,000 views per hour. Now it's getting like 250 per hour, 200 per hour. It's not enough. I need more. Come on. This video deserves needs to get by the end of the month 200,000 views, no less. Anna asks, are you beginning to feel tired? Do you need to take a break? See, Anna can see on my eyes when I'm tired. All right, yeah, I think we have kind of, we talked about Saudi a lot. We're going to end the poll because it looks like Tarek is gone. So everyone was wrong. Well, there were 21% said that Tarek was going to, there were 21% said the second most that Tarek was going to give up after 10, which we did. So we got 10 seasons of Star Tarek. I hope you enjoyed it. Star Tarek, starring Tarek, the anti-Semite, the Jew hater. I hope you enjoyed the wonderful TV show. And yeah, after 10 seasons, it was canceled. Star Tarek was canceled. Maybe we'll see a return of Star Tarek in one of the future live streams. Star Trek was filmed in Tunisia in the desert, yeah. But we're talking about Star Tarek. Yeah, I need dolphin acher, so I'm a different dolphin, yeah. Star Tarek will return. Maybe we'll get like a Klingon Star Tarek. We'll see, we'll see. Maybe in the future. I've had like haters. I've had haters who've like returned to streams. You know, early on when I was doing live streams, there was a guy called Amin who used to like crash every live stream. And he was so clever and original in his attacks that I just let him stay. Like I didn't put him in timeouts because he was like he was like bordering on spam, but not, you know? Because he was actually like asking questions and he had like some clever rhetoric. I don't remember exactly, but and he wouldn't just say the same thing all the time, like Tarek, just put in flags in this. He would like say all kinds of things. So we were always like he became like a feature, you know, he became like an entertainment. And he like invested in it more than Tarek. Because Tarek was just saying the same thing all the time. This guy kept coming up with all these clever remarks about Israel, about this, like anti-Israel remarks, that he was, you know, he became a feature in the live stream. There was always this guy Amin. And also I did a couple polls about Amin, like, you know, he was like the star of the show. So yeah. So maybe Tarek will be back like Amin, but Amin is now gone. Like I guess he gave up at some point. Yeah, he was a clever spammer, Anna. He was clever because he wasn't exactly a spammer. He was just like an Israel hater, and he would like make all these remarks, but they were like, you know, I don't remember exactly like what they were, but it wasn't like this Miriam just comes in, puts a bunch of Palestine flags. It wasn't like that, you know. Have you been assaulted by a hater fighting them face to face? Not yet. All right, I think we're ready to wrap up. I think we're ready to wrap up. We are getting repetitive here a bit, so I'm getting tired, as Anna said, like a pleasant stalker. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, thanks for watching. Thanks for your contributions. You're always welcome to support me on Patreon. Support me on PayPal. You are welcome to buy the merchandise if you need a shirt or a hat. I forgot to share the link here, but that's like if you just want to support, if it's just about supporting, then you're better just sending a donation because, you know, the merchandise part of it goes to the merchandise shop and all that. But if you like the merchandise and you want to share with your friends or you want to get something, then I just shared the link to the merchandise shop that I opened recently. So you can buy shirts, hats, mugs of Insightful Nomad Coexistence t-shirt, which is very cool. Water bottle. There's a bunch of stuff there. So check it out and you can support me that way as well and also get for yourself something nice along the way. So yeah, also Patreon. I'll put a link here as well. My Patreon, which is, again, like a way to give me monthly support. And also, I put some exclusive content on Patreon. So there's some content on Patreon that you can only see if you're a Patreon member. The thing that's cool about the Patreon also is that if you're not a paying member, meaning you're a free member, you can also see some of the stuff, not all the stuff. Some of it is locked. So, you know, you can also join on Patreon. There's some cool stuff there. Sneak peeks, some upcoming videos, exclusive content, discount on the merchandise shop. So yeah, those are ways you can support me. Come for a tea to Tehran. Ooh, of course, of course. I'm watching an ad right now. Yeah, that's also watching. That's the thing. By the way, if you want to support, if you don't, you know, financially you don't want to support because, you know, your financial situation isn't amazing or whatever, then you could support me like that. You can watch the videos like and comment on the videos. That helps the algorithm. You can share the videos with your friends. So there's like tons of ways you can support the channel without like paying any money, right? So yeah. Did anyone in Saudi recognize that you are Jewish? Yeah, there was the guy who was in the chat here, Adele, because he saw my videos before. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I support you by watching through the whole ads. I'm not sure. I think I'm not sure if watching ads makes a difference for the monetization. I think what matters is that the ad shows up. Once the ad shows up, whether you watch the whole thing or you skip, I don't think it makes a difference for the monetization, right? That's then like on the ad to hook you. So the advertisers are paying to put their advertisement in the video and to show up in the video. So I would say I'm pretty certain that you don't have to watch through the ad to support me, right? You do need to watch through the video, but when the ad shows up, if you don't like the ad, then you can skip the ad. It's fine. I watched your Saudi video and entirely saw a dozen ads. Yeah. When you have a long video, there's more ads and you make more money from the ads. Yeah. But right now, my main source of income is the ads from the YouTube videos. Okay. Well. I will see you guys around. I think that's it. Someone said here last question, but I didn't see. Can you do sadaqah to an Arab like charity? I guess. Yeah, why not? Charity, you could do to anyone. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. YouTube Premium is a gift. Oh yeah, that's why we have no ads. YouTube Premium. But it also gives me money, right? So when a YouTube Premium person watches, then you also you get revenue, but the revenue is YouTube is paying you, right? Because you're paying YouTube to get premium, and then they're paying the people that the premium guy's watching. So Anyway, all right, that's it, guys. That's it. I'm gonna log out. Thank you for joining. Share the Saudi video and other videos, and there's gonna be another video coming out soon. Celeste says, I appreciate what you do. Thank you. And yeah, there's going to be more Saudi videos coming out, maybe even tomorrow or the next day, either tomorrow or the next day. So yeah, that is it. See you guys.